Okay, it's Saturday afternoon and we're just about to get this garage on here. We're going to be building a new wall for this. For those of you who play Office Boy Builder Bingo, drinking bingo, it's going to be plumb, true and level. And yeah, to do that we need to take this out. Just going to literally pop the screws out. We're taking the whole garage off. I've got the acro props here because we're going to be supporting this up here just for now so it doesn't fall on us, but we are going to be repitching it at a slightly shallower angle so it can go all the way over to there. Got all the 4x2s there to be able to cut that in. Look at this. Disgusting. The chickens would have all them, they'd love that. They're all running for cover now, look at these. So that is the frame out, but look, this is why we're having to replace it. Miserable. Miserable. If you just hold it there, Dave. Yeah. Or if you maybe support it a little bit or brace it. Yeah, thank you. Well, you've good shoulder. You've got it all shoulder. Read your knife. Okay. Come back over to me. Now, I don't wish like using. It's alright. I'm fine here. I'm absolutely fine here.
It's just that we've got 3 this side and 2 that side, that's it.
Yeah, that's all it is, yeah. So then what we'll do is we'll push it back that way once it's cinched in. So, take it out. I'll get 1 or 2 out of it. Right. Push your whole thing this way, please, Dave. Which way? Push the whole thing towards the house. Go, 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 push, 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 keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. You're still going, still going, still going. Right, there. Yep, right hard up against that door. Okay. That's cool. You see? Yeah. And then I do the same from the back. It'll twist it back in, twist it round the right way, and it holds it in place.
Should I be smiling back or not?
Getting rid of that pretty piece as well. Sorry, neighbours. That's all my hard work. 45mm off.
Keeps doing it, Warren.
Huh?
He keeps doing it, doesn't he?
That was my noggin.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's why it come out so easy.
Right next to you where they were.
Watch your finger when you come in back this way.
I'm coming back. Yeah. I'm coming back this way. Towards me.
Yeah, just have a
We've got a slight one there. Right, hang on.
You just need to come in just a little fraction more.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah. That's that thing.
Then we got this. How much further, Warren?
Well, that's probably it actually. Just tilt. Well, we're under now. We're under, and it looks like we should be on that pattern.
So we're going to go right the way over to you, Warren. I'm pushing it to you. Yeah, hang on. We've got to get this corner up and in. Yeah, I know, but you haven't got enough height.
No.
I can't give you nothing here.
Yeah, you're right.
And you only got enough height to get it up above that concrete.
No,
So the only other way then is to go in that way.
Lengthwise and then spin it round.
Yeah,
But
fine.
then it would have to be you go first and then this end comes back in first.
Agreed.
And then you swing round.
Okay, it is Sunday, it's the next day, and I just thought I'd give you an update on what we achieved yesterday because it was so frantic yesterday. The light was fading so quickly, we just wanted to get stuff done. So we finished stripping that, and we've got the rafters there, and we've stripped off the porch, took the kind of little sand and cement facing that was off on there, that just popped off, and we got this on. Now, because of the way they do porches at the front, it's going to be tricky for me to show you without a spirit level, which I don't have on me right now, but it's much higher here than it is here. They want the water to flow away from the house if ever this got wet, because you've got your air brick there. And so when I then put this timber down on here, it was obviously nowhere near level. So what I've done is I've subsequently jacked it up on a car jack, and you can see actually the gap here. It's tight at the corner there, and then this is now perfectly perfectly level, and you can see that because I've leveled it off. Ignore the OSB, but that ridge there, that one back there, that's the flitch plate that's on the house, and that is perfectly level, the top of that. So got a nice level header on the steel frame. It's actually a little bit low at that end now, so I need to level that off. So the next step for me, it's a bit weird, I don't really know how or why this happened, but this corner of the building here, the bricks had completely crumbled away, and for some reason they had tried packing it out with expanding foam, so all of that just disappeared basically. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some proper DPM underneath this. I'm going to staple it to it, and I'm going to cast some concrete here running from the front along in this corner right underneath it, let that set, and then that'll be nice and sturdy for this, just into this corner here, so that this corner pillar has something very strong to sit on. Then what we'll be doing is we'll be finishing building the wall between here and here to support it, and that'll be basically its own little wall sitting the whole way across here like that, and then I can do the sloped roof here. I was planning on repitching this so it's all one slope, but actually I've looked at a lot of the other houses down the street and they don't have this. That house over there has actually got two separate pitches on that roof, so I think I might do the same. I'm going to turn this from a hip to a gable so that it's the same slope the whole way across, and then I'll just do a shallower pitch that's separate next to it here on this side, because this is perfectly sturdy, it's in perfectly good nick, and there's just no point. What I will do is I'll insulate inside here on the flat surface, and then I can run new felt and batten on there. Got my cast set up here, really rigid and sturdy. The whole weight of this is resting down on it. I measured it and cut it exactly to the height so when this is completely level across the top, that's wedged in place. I've then clamped another one to the other side here. I've stapled up my DPM so it's out the way. So we are pretty much ready to go. I just got to plug a little hole down there where the ground slopes away, and just a little bit here as well. But to be honest, I'm going to make quite a lean mix so that it dries a little bit quicker. The ground's nice and wet. It rained last night, so it shouldn't crack. So yeah, I'm going to be doing 1 part cement, 2 parts sand, 4 parts aggregate. That should make a nice solid mix. Okay, so just finished casting this. I'm just kind of smoothing out the surface just a little bit. I don't want to faff with it too much, but nice to get a decent finish on it. Had one little slippage here, which I thought, I don't know why I was thinking I braced the top and I hadn't considered bracing the bottom for some stupid reason. So I've now wedged that from the bottom there, and it spilled out, so I've just refilled it basically. It's fine, so I'm going to leave that to set for a day or two, and then I'll come back to it in the week with a fresh head. So this video will kind of pick up then. I'm just up above the porch as was, and I'm stripping off. I've just cleaned up all of this along here just to make it a little bit nicer to work, I suppose. What I'm going to be doing is taking this from being a hipped roof to a gable roof. So there'll be a gable up in here, so all of this will be coming off, which shouldn't take too long because it's crumbling away most of it. And then I'm actually going to keep all of these because they're in perfectly good condition. So I'll need to get another ledger board like this, stick it on and then continue it. But it means I've got to take off this, and actually this one here as well, because this one, where you can see the hip rafter comes up, it doesn't quite sit on there. But look at the detailing that they went to on this. I actually think it's really quite impressive and elegant. You know, they've done two birds' mouths and finished it off, and then this was an angle so that it could accept this kind of wooden profile detail here. So it's actually really nice. That's the one that dropped off there, off this end of it. But it's really nice. I think, you know, they put a lot of effort into the construction and the detail on these sorts of things, which I really, you know, admire. Right, so the corner is propped. I can't remember if I've said this earlier. I actually had to raise both of these sides up using a 6x2, because in the instructions, I hadn't seen this, but in the instructions they say to leave about 18mm of gap underneath the external frame. So I cut some wedges, propped this up, and got my heights, and then got it nice and level across here at the top by wedging this up, well, raising it up. I've now supported the rest of that, so that's good. And what I can start doing now is start running the connection between the header plate here and the inside here, and then I can start working out my angle for the pitch of the roof. Right, I'm just doing these bird's mouths. I've left the tail long for a little bit just so I can figure out exactly how far I want this to go. But it's seated really nicely on here. I've just done it with a screw for now, actually, just so I can get it on and off easily without just constantly battering holes in this thing. So I've got a ledger board here, OSB ledger board, because I didn't have anything else. I didn't have any other timber that was the same size. So this timber is 18mm, that timber there is 18mm, and I don't have any actual timber that is that other than this OSB, so just using that, that's perfectly fine. It's seating on there nicely, nice clean bird's mouth. This is barely going to be taking any load at all. I mean, frankly, it's just here to hold tiles basically and allow water to run off. But I've left enough gap here that we can lap some lead up to this point here, and then the render will come down and sit on top of it. There'll be render all across the front here. So we'll have the lead lapping down, and then the render will cover that. One thing I thought I should point out when I'm doing this, I've obviously spaced them 400s apart, and I'm going to have another one here. But I'm making sure that these joists here line up with these rafters here line up with these ones here, because you know, with them all touching like this, I know that there's not going to be any creep in the roof. You know, it's not going to raise up or go down. It'll be nice and flat the whole way across, or rather nice and level the whole way across, which is quite important to me for the look of it and how it continues. So it's nice and consistent there, which is good. So I've still got a few more to do. I'm going to do this inside one next, tight up against the pebble dash, and then I'll carry on working my way across. Right, it's just about 4 o'clock, coming to the end of the day, and we are finished. All the rafters are up. Just need to do a couple in there. I need to sister them along the existing rafters that were on the hip. Well, that's easy enough, I can do that. And I also need to put a little ledger board across as well to just carry that on there. Again, where it was the hip, it didn't have one. And then I can batten and felt this whole thing and get this a little bit more watertight and secure, which would be really nice. Right, it's getting quite dark in here now. I've pretty much finished framing this out. I've got a little bit more to do just up in the corner there, which I can do, but I've put the felt and batten, or the membrane and batten up on there. I've done the rafters, so that's all fine. Just need to insulate up there and insulate that loft section, or the kind of vaulted section, I guess, the slope. So what I'm doing is I'm just finishing patching up some of these bits of insulation here, kind of going around packing them in, and I've also started running some of this OSB board on here. The reason that we're putting the OSB on is it's part of the structure. This is a structural element of the build. If you remember back to one of the earlier episodes in this, when I put up the screenshot of our wall construction, I'll flesh it up here. But you'll see that we need to have a skin of OSB on the inside and on the outside. Now, we don't need to put the vapor barrier membrane up here, which is why it's not on here. Normally I'd be doing the vapor barrier over the insulation and then the OSB board. We don't need that in here because this isn't an inhabited room, it's just a garage. But I still want the OSB, and I'm then going to put plasterboard on, and then we can put our boiler on. So that's why I'm prioritising this section here, because it's starting to get really cold now. I want to finish the work in that room in there, clear that boiler out, and we can't do that until we've got the new one in. So if I get this all prepped and ready for the plumber, he can come and he can stick the boiler on the wall. So yeah, I'm basically just running the sheets of OSB up and on. It's getting messy and grubby in here again. I think we're going to end up having a bit of a clear out soon, which would be quite nice actually, clear some space. But yeah, that's what I'm up to. So after this is completely covered, I'll show you, and then we're going to be having some plasterboard over the top. Right, that's done. Just got a bit more to do here. I've now boarded, and I've actually put the battens and render carrier board up on that triangle out there, just to try and help seal it a little bit. Obviously there's still some gaps there because it hasn't been tiled yet, but that'll hopefully keep the worst off it. I still need to do the render board on the outside, but I've actually run out of weatherproof screws, so I need to go and get some more of those before I can finish that. There's not a vast amount left to do out there, just a little bit, and then I can come across the front here and do this section as well. For now, what I'm going to do is put some insulation in there, I think, and then I'm going to properly build this wall here, which is between the garage and the porch. Roof is back today. The undercloak, all of these, which match nicely with the front ones. So by the end of today is Thursday the 17th of December. By the end of today, we will be watertight and dry. Save for this little bit, I just need to do a little bit here, which I need to go and get some exterior screws for. I've run out of the kind of galvanised decking screws that I was using, so go and get a box of those. Once I've got that panel on and they've got that roof on, we are done, on the outside anyway. Look at that. A few left. It has just been Christmas. It's the day after Boxing Day. We're just cracking on with a few jobs. It's Sunday, but we just want to get a couple of little jobs done. Namely, putting this bar up so that we can finally start using the garage properly. At the minute it's fully locked and sealed and bolted in place. The frame is nice and secure, but we can't actually open it yet because those kind of stanchion arms or whatever they're called are down. So we need to pull them up. To do that, we basically need to fix them into the wall there and the wall there. So got a few bits here to help us do that. So yeah, my wife and I are going to start that now. Right, so the door that I bought doesn't come with all the clips, or didn't come with all the clips, so I haven't been able to bolt this together, but it's resting on there. And we have put these tension springs on as well. My wife and I did this. It is unbelievably difficult. In fact, not only is it difficult, it is impossible for one person to do this on their own. It's just not physically possible. You have to latch the bottom one in and then use a bar. I actually used the bar from a clamp to pull this up, and then my wife latched in that hook there into this, and I had to stand on probably 9 inches worth of timber to get the height so that I could lift from my legs. I still ended up hurting my back actually, but anyway, those are now on and fully tensioned, and the door does open, but there is timber in the way, so yeah, I can't open it yet. So these are on here, and this basically kind of pivots around a bit like a catapult or a cantilever actually on a spring. So yeah, that's that. So finally have an operating garage. So what I will do, the only thing I'll say about this is there is almost no air seal around this, and in the wind this does rattle and bang a bit, so I'm going to try and find some bits to kind of weather seal it or air seal it. Obviously it's a garage, so it is a ventilated space, but I have insulated the vast majority of this. All of this back here is insulated, all of this up around here is insulated, all the way up to this kind of bulkhead, because I don't really want it being super drafty and cold. I'm going to be doing expanding foam in here. What I did, where these are the rafters, I basically just pushed the insulation board up underneath it, so it's almost like a warm deck system, but in reverse. So instead of the insulation being on the outside, the insulation's on the inside, because I didn't have to worry about losing loads of space inside the room. So that's that. But this works really nicely. Very simple system here that kind of twists and locks and unlocks. Like I said, these springs cantilever around, and it's really nicely balanced. This bit broke, so I need to get a replacement for this. That's the latch on this side. That broke, so I need to get a replacement for that. But the other thing you can do is you can get I think they call it a boom arm, where you can basically put an electric arm that can open and shut this. I haven't bothered with that. It was money that I didn't have available to us in the budget, given that I've got perfectly good working arms. So that may be something that we do in the future. But it's nicely balanced. Nicely balanced, this door. So it's a Horman door. Yeah, pretty good. Horman 2001. So that's how you fix and install a garage door.